Hi, this is Abelardo de la Peña Jr. I'm the Director of Marketing and Communications with La Plaza de Cultura y Artes, welcoming you to today's En Casa con La Plaza. I hope somebody's out there and they could hear me. Hello there. We're recording. I'm live on Facebook. All right, if you'd like to join us as part of the meeting, meaning you could chime in and participate, you're welcome to. I'll go ahead and share the Zoom link with you right now. See how this works. This is the first time I've done a meeting versus a webinar, where meetings usually are, webinars is I'm talking, you're listening, we bring in our guests and so on. But a meeting is where I think you could actually participate. As you know, we do meetings. The past 2 years, we've been doing meetings pretty consistently with staff, with our fellow. Yeah, there you go. Anyway, let me get started here. All right, En Casa con la Plaza, brought to you by our sponsors. We have with us tonight Institute for Museum and Library Services and Union Pacific Foundation. If you've joined us on Zoom, please let us know where you're viewing from. Participate if you'd like. And then you can also, let's see, what else can you do? You can just chime in on the comment section. Okay, then let's see. Also, I'll let you know what's going on at La Plaza before we get started. La Plaza is open now. Our new hours are Wednesday through Sunday from noon to 5 p.m. La Tienda gift store is also open at the same time, Wednesday through Sunday, noon to 5 p.m. Our new hours. All of our exhibitions are up and running. Calle Principal, LA starts here. Frank Romero is going to the 1984 Olympics. LA Memo, Chicano art from 1972 to 1989. If you were up this morning and watching Telemundo, you probably saw, hopefully you saw, on Noticiero Telemundo, we had a TV crew there interviewing the co-curator of the show, Karen Cruz Hendon, and also Veronica Diaz, the marketing and communications associate. That was this morning. And then Patriotism and Conflict, Fighting for Country y Comunidad is ending soon in June, so catch up with it this weekend. La Cocina, our museum and teaching kitchen dedicated to Mexican cuisine, is also open Wednesdays through Sundays, 12 to 5 p.m. This is the last weekend for its first exhibition, Maíz, Past, Present, and Future, a tribute to the cuisine's most essential ingredients. So come on down. It's at 555 Spring Street, North Spring Street, right behind La Plaza de Cultura y Arte. Right there, you just go up the walkway, walk across the street on Spring, and you're there. So that's 12 to 5. Check out the first exhibit, and in about 3 weeks, we'll be opening up a brand new exhibit, Abuela's Kitchen. More to come on that. All right, okay. So what I'm going to do tonight is thank you so much for joining us. It's the 2-year anniversary celebration of En Casa con la Plaza. We started, the first session was on Wednesday, April 29th, 2020. It was in response, of course, to the pandemic, in which we closed our museum, stopped all of our programming, but realized that we needed to continue to serve our community, which is all of you, with our programming, bringing you the best of our culture, art, and history. Of course, along with a lot of other people, we started doing things virtually. So what this is, it's kind of a rerun of sorts. Just this last Monday, the California Association of Museums was here in town at the Japanese American Cultural Center? No, JANM, National Museum, which is located on First Street and Central. More than 100, about 150, 200 museum professionals were there to listen, to learn, to interact with each other. And we were fortunate enough to be one of the case studies in which we presented on this program, En Casa con la Plaza, letting our museum professionals know of what our experience was, and giving them a little taste of what we've done over the past 2 years, and to let them know what we learned. And hopefully they'll be able to use this learning in their mission to connect with their communities. All right, so this was, there were 3 of us who gave the presentation. It was myself, my colleague Karen Cruz Hendon, our senior curator, and Jimena Martin, our director of programming and culinary arts, who you well know here on En Casa con la Plaza Cocina, our cooking demonstrations. So I'm going to go through the PowerPoint. I think it's pretty good, and I think you'll enjoy it. So let's see. We have on chat here. Okay, JD is okay. Well, thank you for joining us, Jennifer Daig. Okay, thank you all those who are out there. Okay, so I'm going to give you a brief intro here. En Casa con la Plaza is a program that launched in response to the museum closure in March of 2020, keeping people connected while in isolation through this popular technology, Zoom, Facebook. En Casa presented interdisciplinary and participatory community engagement with top Latinx conversations, presentations, demonstrations, and performances that created a virtual connection. So I'm going to put this away. I'm going to share the screen and we'll go through the PowerPoint here. Okay, so here's the first slide. I hope you could see that. All right, so La Plaza de Cultura y Artes, this is our mission. We honor the past, inspire the future, and recognize the enduring cultural influence of Mexicans, Mexican Americans, and all Latinas, Latinos in LA through transformative exhibitions, programming, and educational experiences. We opened in 2011. It's an LA County museum and a Smithsonian affiliate. We're located in historic El Pueblo de Los Angeles, right across from Olvera Street. We have permanent and rotating exhibitions. Until 2020, we had 75 plus public programs. These are programs put on by La Plaza. Include salsa concerts, the film screenings, the family days, pláticas y pruebas, our food programming. In 2018 and 2019, we really broke our own records of more than 100,000 attendees. But then on March 14th, 2020, we closed the museum due to COVID. Okay, so what do we need to do? We need to transition to a new reality. All right. And here, just to talk, you see the slide here? This is, we had planned to show an exhibit on March 18th. It was the opening of Carlos Almaraz's Evolution of Form. We were going to have a reception, as we usually do. The co-curator Elsa Flores Almaraz had traveled from Hawaii for the opening. So what we ended up doing, we worked with a contracted videographer. We did a virtual tour. So just to introduce it, I have with us here, I'm gonna, let's see, start the share screen again, share the sound, optimize for video clip. This is our CEO, our former CEO, John Echeveste. Let me start that again. I'm not doing too good here. There you go. All right.
Welcome. How are you all tonight? Good to have you here. I'm John Echeveste, the CEO of La Plaza de Cultura y Artes, and we're here downtown coming to you live. Sorry for the technical delays, but we'll be here now with you for the next 45 minutes or so. And we want to welcome you here to La Plaza for what we think is probably one of the country's first virtual openings of an art exhibition, and we're very happy to present this tonight. I want you to know that we're all practicing proper CDC protocol. There are less than 10 people here. None of us have a temperature. None of us have been coughing. And I just want to be sure, Susanna, that we're 6 feet apart from each other. Good. Okay, and if you want to check with Elsa, we'll be fine there. So we're all set to go. We're all in compliance with everything, okay? And I am reminded in times like this of what Winston Churchill said when the United Kingdom was ready to go to war with Germany. And he gathered all his ministers together, and one of the ministers stood up and said, you know, Mr. Prime Minister, the first thing we're going to do is cut all the funding to the arts. And Churchill replied, you bloody hell will not. That's what we're fighting for. Okay, and some people say that we're in a different kind of war right now. And if we are, we can't forget the importance of the arts and how important they are to brightening our lives and giving sustenance to our lives and what we do every day.
All right, so that was John Echeveste. It was the intro to a virtual walkthrough, which took place that same evening of March 18th. At the walkthrough, we had more than 3,500 views. and you could check it out. It's on our website and also on our YouTube page at La Plaza LA, and also on our Facebook page at La Plaza LA. But what this did, it kind of established ourselves as a understanding what the virtual realm, what the virtual world could do in bringing our community and ourselves closer together. So what we did was we brainstormed as to how we could use this technology, Zoom and Facebook, to bring us closer and to continue on our mission and continue our public programming, maintaining the high quality, diverse programming that our audience expects. All of you, reach you where you live or where you were at the time. Most of us were at our homes in casa. And then also to support the musicians, the artists, the curators, the historians, the community members, the authors, and everyone else had the chefs, the cooks that have appeared on En Casa con la Plaza programs with honorariums. We do pay them for their time. So the concept was developed of conversations, demonstrations, presentations, and performances that I know you're very well aware of. So what we did here was, I'll just share screen again. Hopefully I'll get it right. Is that we connected with our community where you live. And that's what we've been trying to do ever since with En Casa con la Plaza, now ending our second year. So I'm going to fast forward here. I'm going to start with conversations. Conversations, of course, could take the form of Q&As. They could take the form of debates, of panel discussions, and so much more. This one that you see here was a roundtable roundtable on the election, Decisión 2020. We had political analysts, we had a newscaster, and members of political parties with us to talk about the election. And so I'm going to start here with a clip of our very first, a series of clips, our very first En Casa, which took place on April 27, 2020, California, in the time of coronavirus with Gustavo Arellano. Followed by Gloria Molina talking about the founding of La Plaza. Last year, 2021, was our 10-year anniversary of La Plaza. So we did manage towards the latter part of the year to start having live programming. In fact, our 2021 gala, which celebrated our 10-year anniversary, was both live and virtual. And then we have a clip of Dan Guerrero Happy Hour with Danny Trejo, the esteemed actor. And then finally, Afro-Peruvian Culture in Los Angeles with Nadia Calmet, a dancer, choreographer, an activist in her community. And what we've done with these is not just bring you fresh programming, but kind of tie them as to what was going on at La Plaza at the time. And the last, as I said, with Gloria Molina talking about the founding of La Plaza. With Nadia Calmet, we had our exhibition Afro Latinidad, Mi Casa, My City, going on exhibit, and so that was one that was in conjunction with that exhibit. So I'm going to share the screen again, and so listen to these next clips, please. Enjoy. What's one of the most impactful stories that you've heard and that you've reported on?
To me, still the saddest one was my friend Sonia Velez. She's a senior administrative assistant at Long Beach City College, Bell resident. And this is one of the reasons why I wanted to do this, was tell the stories of people like her family. I saw on Facebook, she's like, mi tío Carlos, le decían Calín. Mi tío Calín passed away from coronavirus. And she was the first person I knew whose family was impacted in that way. So I interviewed her. It was the third episode. You hear it, it's heartbreaking. He was a wonderful man. He was involved in his parish and in his church in Bell. So they're Salvadoran refugees, and just had this wonderful life. And then it just got taken away from coronavirus. I asked Sonia, how was your family mourning? And her answer was just heartbreaking. Alone.
How were those decisions made as to what to showcase and what to kind of have to leave out due to the space restrictions within the building itself?
That was a board decision as we started narrowing down. We certainly wanted to have a place where kids that were in elementary school and middle school would come and visit and get an idea of the beginnings when we were there. And that's why you see that one floor that's totally dedicated to the kids. They go through it, and it's kind of what the building was in the 1920s with the old photography shop, the record shop. We really create an experience for the kids to be a part of it. But we really wanted to have a history as well of who we were in Los Angeles and talk about those challenges that were there. But at the same time, as Miguel said, how we persevered and we've come out of it stronger and better as a community. We wanted it to be a place where we were really talking about who our central part of our character is, and that is that we are very, very resilient. We're about family and coming together, and I think it really has been that.
What do you tell your children and grandchildren about your past?
Well, I don't have any grandchildren, but my kids, they know. I mean, it's funny. They just known everything. I remember looking at some pictures one day when I got real sentimental. I was looking at these old pictures, and my daughter, I was braiding her hair. She was about 6, and that's Danny Boy, and that's Gilbert. And my daughter Danielle says, "Dad, what are you thinking about?" And I says, "I'm thinking about how I was before I had you kids." And my daughter says, "How were you, Dad?" And my son jumps off the couch going, "Ooh, he was a bad dude." And we just laughed because, they knew, it's like, but it was funny to them. They didn't picture me as dad, period. That's all. Nobody else. And as far as like my daughter was interviewed a couple of years ago about where did your father grow up? And she says, he hasn't. Are you kidding? And he says, he's got 8 cars, he still cruises.
Where do you feel the spirits are coming from? From your ancestors, from
Yes,
nature?
I feel this power from my ancestors. Every time that I have the opportunity to perform, I have to take a few minutes to say thank you. Thank you, because I'm here for a reason. The reason is maybe be an instrument to talk about our culture por aquellos que no pudieron. So para mí esto es más que ir y dar un buen espectáculo.
Mm-hmm.
Es rendir honor, es pay a tribute to my ancestors.
All right, that was Nadia Calmet, a dancer, choreographer who Afro-Latina, very proud of her Caribbean culture, who performs throughout the region and also internationally, nationally, internationally, to promote Afro-Peruvian culture. And those were the conversations that we had, basically questions and answers. But we had so many incredible people who participated in these conversations. You can check them out all on our YouTube site, YouTube page at La Plaza LA. Next up is our demonstrations. Our demonstrations.
Stories that
there you go. Here. All right. Okay, demonstrations were a cooking demonstration. We had a couple demonstrations which were not cooking, including how to make papel picado. The most popular En Casa session that we've done with my colleague Mario Hernandez, how to make papel picado. More than 50,000 views on YouTube, maybe even more than that by now. You got to check it out. But here our demonstrations were hosted by Jimena Martin, Director of Programming and Culinary Arts, every Monday at 3 p.m. Since its founding, La Plaza has featured food programming, Hecho con Amor, Pláticas y Pruebas, cooking demonstrations, actual cooking classes there at La Plaza. Now they're going to be starting to take place at La Plaza Cocina right across the street. The success of her demonstrations have been her relationships with chefs, restaurateurs, taqueros, home cooks, an incredible amount of people that she has brought on to En Casa con La Plaza Cocina. She's featured James Beard Award winners. James Beard Awards are like the Oscars of the culinary arts, including John Sedler Rivera and the Herrera family of Yucas and many more notable chefs. So the first clip will be Jocelyn Ramirez, a plant-based Mexican food. It kind of sums up everything that happens at these demonstrations. First, there's a live demonstration with the instructions of how to make the cook. There are questions from viewers. We try to keep this very interactive so that people use the chat on Zoom, the Q&A on Zoom, and also the comment section on Facebook to ask questions, make comments. And then also the backstory of the chefs, the restaurateurs, where they come from, where they learn, what's their background. So that's what each demonstration, each En Casa con la Plaza Cocina entails. Besides Jocelyn, we'll also hear from Maite Gomez Rejon of Art Bites, one of our favorite, most frequent guests on En Casa con la Plaza Cocina, talking about the history of masa. And then finally, one of my favorites en casas, it's a demonstration of caldo de queso para Roberto del libro Recetario para la Memoria. Recetario para la Memoria is a recipe book. It's an art book which depicts recipes of people, of families in Mexico who've suffered the loss of a son, a daughter, a father, a mother, due to violence, where they have yet to find the body, los desaparecidos. So this one is was filmed at a home in Sinaloa, direct from us to them, and you'll see, you know, what happens here at En Casa con la Plaza. It's a live format, so anything can happen, and you'll check out to see what happened during that one. So please enjoy.
So I have my jackfruit here, and I'm just gonna sprinkle on my spices, my crushed red pepper flakes, my cumin. So I have that. And then I'm going to add here my rice bran oil.
My mistake here.
And I am going to use my spatula to scrape that down just to make sure I get all of it into
I get
here.
so excited here that nothing's happening. Okay, I'm gonna stop this, rewind it. All right, gonna share the screen this time. Share the right screen. And here, let's try this again. There you go.
So I have my jackfruit here, and I'm just gonna sprinkle on my spices, my crushed red pepper flakes, my cumin. So I have that. And then I'm going to add here my rice bran oil. And I am going to use my spatula to scrape that down just to make sure I get all of it into here.
Another quick question from Anari Rivera. Would you add the garlic to the chiles and onion?
Yeah, you can add it all in the same pan. So if I had my garlic that I didn't eat for lunch today, it would be in the same pan with a little bit of oil to coat it. Check out my onion there so far. So I have a nice blackening of my onion so far. I'm gonna flip it over to the other side of the wedge here just to continue to cook it. And I can see that my onion is slowly starting to soften and cook through as well.
Tell us how you got started with Todo Verde. How did it all begin? What was your journey?
Yeah, I mean, I started Todo Verde back in 2015, mostly because, you know, I was dealing with a lot of health issues within my family. I had a thyroid issue that I had been trying to heal with food. And I just felt like, you know, food was really the way that I was going to be able to take control of what was happening with my body. And, you know, the really big trigger was that my dad was diagnosed with cancer a second time. My mom then got diagnosed with high blood pressure. My dad had diabetes since I was in middle school. And I was just like, wow, this is a lot of preventable things. Like, why are we dealing with all of this? And I wondered if, you know, people in other areas of the city were dealing with the same. And so, you know, my solution was to become a solution for somebody else potentially, or to like be a part of the change that could potentially happen with communities of color throughout the city of LA.
The Mayan book of creation is this book called the Popol Vuh. And in it, humans are made out of masa. And there's an expression in Mexico, sin maíz no hay país, like without maíz, there's no country. But in this book of creation, the original humans, well, there were different humans. First, they were carved out of wood, and then there was a fire, and they burned down, and then they were made out of clay, out of terracotta, and then there was a storm, and they just disintegrated, and then they were made out of flesh, and then they invented war and killed each other, and then the final humans were molded out of masa.
Entonces, por favor, todos los que nos están mirando, que siguen apoyando el grupo, las familias, con este libro de recetas. Y ahí se la paso con esto de las recetas a Ana. Ana, por favor. Sí.
Adelante, Ana.
Buenas tardes.
Me quito de la página.
Buenas tardes, hoy voy a preparar el caldo de queso, que era el que a mi hermano le gustaba mucho. ¿Quieren que le vaya dando ingrediente por ingrediente o...?
Por favor, sí. Dinos qué es el proceso.
Bueno, primero tenemos que lavar la verdura. Importante, muy importante. Ya tengo tatemado chile verde. Ya está tatemado y está ya sin su cáscara.
Sí, en la música que escuchan es un voy a hablar sin que me vean. Estamos en la casa de la suegra de Ana, es su cumpleaños. Y aquí en Sinaloa y en México se usa que cuando hay un cumpleaños se le trae un mariachi de sorpresa, ¿verdad, Ana?
Una sorpresa.
Pues sorpresa. Por eso allá se va al fondo al mariachi y a la señora bailando. Estamos de fiesta. Qué mejor.
All right. As you see, it's live. That was recorded from back in one of the from the first year, 2020. But it was from the Recetarios de la Memoria, and in this Ana's don't know her last name, her home kitchen, and they just happened to have a party next door, midday, towards the end of the day, I think, and we just were able to work with what was going on, and it turned out to be a fun En Casa session with Jimena Martin hosting. All right, the next category is presentations. We have presentations in which we ask an individual or a group of individuals to present their knowledge in it could deal with health, with education, with history, with art. We've had some incredible presentations taking place here at En Casa con la Plaza. Of course, this all happened during the time of COVID, during the lockdown. So one of the hallmarks of En Casa is we tried not to kind of paper away the fact that we were in a pandemic. So one of our presentations, the first one that we'll be viewing, just a small clip. It's called "The Impact of COVID-19 on Latinos: The Way Forward," with Dr. David Hayes Bautista, along with some of his colleagues. They're at the Center for the Study of Latino Health and Culture at UCLA. The second clip will be Frida Kahlo, Crossing Borderlines with Dr. Gloria Arjona. Gloria Arjona is a educator and an entertainer. She's done several En Casas with us. Loteria, one of the first. Also talking about Jose Posada, the great artist, editorial cartoonist from the early part of the last century of the 20th century there in Mexico. And then finally we have West Coast Chicano Soul with Frankie Firme, Vista LA Radio. And we have joining us here Dr. Alvaro Huerta. Alvaro Huerta, hi. How's it going? Glad you could join us. Okay, so I'm going to share the screen here and go to the next section on presentation. So please enjoy. And we've had Dr. Alvaro Huerta with us as well, one of our early shows. So hopefully we'll have you back, Alvaro. All right, talk to you soon. Here goes. Share the screen.
So I have.
My name is Giselle Hernandez. I am a research assistant at CESLAC. And thank you all for being here as we delve into these important topics of the impact of COVID-19 on our communities and delving into the structural barriers that our most vulnerable communities are grappling with during this pandemic and what that's looked like with the Latino physician shortage that's been an ongoing issue in California for decades. So we're going to have three amazing experts give their insights. And as you hear each of their presentations, please do write down your question in the chat or the Q&A, and then we're going to get to it at the end. So first, we're going to hear from Dr. David Hayes Bautista, Distinguished Professor of Medicine and Director of CESLAC. His research into Latino health and culture, including the Latino epidemiological paradox and Latinos' historical presence in the U.S., has led him to study the links between culture, behavior, and health, as detailed in his books, El Cinco de Mayo, An American Tradition, and La Nueva California, Latinos from Pioneers to Post-Millennials. All right, Professor, take it away.
Thank you. First thing I'm going to do is share screen because I want to share with our audience some findings that we have come through.
Same thing, please.
So I want to chat for the next few minutes about Latino health and social narratives. Sobre todo narratives about Latinos. So ever since April, COVID has been the major source of death in Los Angeles County in the state of California, and then as well as across the country. And early in the pandemic, the issue arose, why do Latinos, African Americans, why do populations of color have higher death rates than non-Hispanic white?
I will start by sharing my PowerPoint. I am as educator, as you say, so I always use images. And this is something nice I like about Zoom. I know that we are kind of hating Zoom already, but for talks, for charlas, is good because we can share good quality images. And since I know that we have talked too much about Frida Kahlo. La vemos hasta en la sopa. We saw her even in the soup, right? And it seems that we cannot tell anything else about Frida. We know a lot about her. We know that she used to she loved the Mexican fashion and loved to combine, as we see her in this picture, Indian garments and China jewelry from China, I'm sorry, and traditional Mexican clothing. We know her love for her husband, Diego Rivera, and for other lovers. We know that she, as well as Diego Rivera, and those of you who don't know, now you will know that they had an open relation. After all, they were the product of the Mexican Revolution, so they were throwing away many prejudices of the middle class.
Back in the 60s, Chicanos, we perfected lowriding. There's a whole nother history to that, but Chicanos were lowriding, and we started putting in heavy-duty sound systems in our cars. My older brothers and cousins, they had record players. Believe it or not, they had record players in the car. They played 45s. And they would get speakers, and I remember my brother getting these big speakers and taping them and putting them in big coffee cans and drilling holes in the coffee can. And having the most tremendous sound, it just really blew my mind. And I know one of the more popular songs that they would jam is like everybody was jamming, and these Chicanos were coming on TV more than anybody. They were coming on white stations and black stations, and even on Spanish language TV shows. They were known as Cannibal and the Headhunters. And this is a song that made everybody look at East LA, along with the Midnighters.
I said, no, 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 no. You gotta know what to do.
All right. So yeah, those are the presentations. We had quite a few of them throughout that we've had here at En Casa con la Plaza. And Alvaro, you're still out there. If you are, come on in. Let's have a little discussion here. You were an early participant of En Casa con la Plaza. In fact, your presentation was called "The Personal is Political: My Barrio Story." So how's it going, Alvaro, there?
Muchas gracias, Abelardo. Actually, I know I met you before your position here with Latino LA, and you really did a great job in promoting, giving a platform for people to self-publish. You know, unfortunately for Raza, for us to publish, we have to go through these channels, and we always get rejected. And so when you were at your new position, I just reached out to you and said, "Oh, I want to talk a little bit about my story." And actually, the Cannibals is a beautiful story because they're from the neighborhood where I grew up, the housing projects in Ramona Gardens in East LA. And one of the few Chicano groups to make it, in terms of that time. So I really appreciate you and the space where you're at, and literally promoting our people in a positive light. And when I tell my story, I want to tell my story and that of my brothers and the people that I grew up with, to show that in our communities, it doesn't matter whether we grew up poor or we struggled, but we have a sense of community, a sense of pride, and with art and with music and with poetry and storytelling, that comes from our people, from our ancestors. So when I saw you doing this today, I said, well, I have to give you credit, because it's people like you, your generation, that opened the doors for my generation, and I try to do the same for the next generation. So I'm really, grateful for what you do and what your La Plaza does and everything or the center that you work at, and promoting the positive contributions of our people that are, unfortunately, we all see the negative in movies and mainstream media.
Well, thank you, Alvaro. Thanks for the work that you do. I know that you've been a lot on this virtual program platform. You're coming up with something, I think, in the next couple weeks. And so, no, thank you for being our guest back in 2020, and we hope to have you on again soon. So, we'll talk to you soon. All right.
Well, gracias.
Okay,
Well, I'm gonna keep tuning into your programs and igualmente.
Okay, gracias, Alvaro. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. All right. Well, the next category of are the performances. As you know, at La Plaza de Cultura y Artes, we have frequent between March, February, and into November. We have a lot of things going on our outdoor stage. Most recently, let's see, we're gonna coming up is the Cuban American Music Festival. Our Summer of Salsa concerts will start on May 13th with Ricardo Lenvo and Máquina Loca. We've had Marisol and La Santa Cecilia on our stage. Too many to mention, but during the pandemic, that all came to a halt. So how best can we continue in that? On the music tip is by using this technology, Zoom and Facebook Live, and in inviting different artists, solos, groups, duos, trios to join us on this virtual stage. So coming up here, we have three little clips, including Ruby Clouds, a brother sister duo, Tres Sols, Boleros Relived with Tres Sols. Tres Sols is the trio. Roberto Carlos, Rosalia, and Jose and Jesus Martinez, and then finally Gabi Moreno, a very well-known, very well-respected singer from Central America. She was in conversation with Beto Arcos, but she also graced us with some of her songs. So please enjoy this next round of performances. Thank you.
So we're gonna begin with a song called Esta Noche, which means on this night, and it's a song that I wrote a few years ago when I was really interested in writing original mariachi songs. And so this song was originally supposed to be a huapango, which is one of those poetic, sometimes somber kind of songs that mariachis sing. And so it's sort of an old-timey portrait of just like Sandra Cisneros when she mentioned the woman resting her head on her, on her hand looking out the window. It's something similar to that. I wrote it actually when I was washing the dishes looking out the window. So here it goes. This is Esta Noche, and it'll show you some of the mariachi, some of the rock, and hopefully you enjoy it. Here we go. En esta noche, como todas, sigo pensando
presencia en tu vivir. Bastaría con abrazarte y conversar. Tanta vida yo te di que por fuerza tienes ya sabor a mí.
Y los dejo con este tema que se llama Fronteras.
If you're on Facebook, same thing.
Hay un camino que nos trajo hasta aquí. No conoce las fronteras, esta pasión dentro de mí. Es anhelo el que me empuja cada nuevo amanecer, con mis temores, ilusiones y los restos del ayer.
Oh man, that was an incredible evening with Gabi Moreno. She was in Mexico, I believe, and Beto, I don't know where he was, but we were entranced with the singing of Gabi Moreno that evening. All right. Again, one of the hallmarks of En Casa con la Plaza is the interactivity in that, you know, you're not all with us at the same time, but God, what am I doing here? Am I here? There you go. But through Zoom and through chat, through comment section, we're able to see who's out there. So tonight we have with us, thank you for joining us, Rachel Delgado. She says, Abuela's Kitchen sounds wonderful. Yeah, it's going to be incredible. Deborah Ramos, thank you for joining us. Chispa Hills, also known as Holly Lynn Porter, a faithful En Casa con la Plaza a viewer. Thanks for joining us as well. Rachel Delgado says, I started watching Happy Hour with Dan Guerrero. I had visited La Plaza years ago while on vacation. So happy to enjoy your programming from far away. And we're happy that you're joining us tonight and that you do enjoy En Casa con la Plaza. And Michelle Coates, another regular here at En Casa, thank you. She loves them. And we love all of you that have joined us tonight. And all of you that have joined us throughout these 200 plus En Casa con la Plazas. So I'm gonna, let's see what's next here. Okay, so I talked about the performances, the conversations, the demonstrations, and now we're gonna, let's see if I could find out where I'm at here. There you go. Sometimes I have too many screens going on at once, and I'm sure you've noticed that before. But we also have had many guests, hosts with us. So we've had Dan Guerrero, of course, the host of Dan Guerrero's Happy Hour, who brings his sizable Rolodex. You remember Rolodexes. He brings a sizable contact list. He's brought in Edward James Olmos, Cheech Marin, Charo, Vicky Carr, Eden Espinosa. So many people from the entertainment and political and cultural world, Latino worlds, here to En Casa. So we thank Dan Guerrero tremendously for his efforts in bringing the best of our culture to all of us. Beto Arcos, a music journalist, brought in Gabi Moreno, San Miguel, and quite a few others. Yolanda Nava, most recently we've been showcasing her interviews with notables, including Gloria Molina and Herman Gallegos. Right there on the left, the upper left, Dr. Jose Luis Ruiz, who showcases Mexican-American history makers, including he's brought in, let's see, State Senator Maria Elena Durazo and many more. And then Esperanza Sanchez, who's our assistant curator there at La Plaza. She's been the panelist in the moderator for panelists, including the 3B Collective and others that revolve around her curatorial efforts there at La Plaza. All right, let's see what's here. And then we also have to, of course, thank our sponsors. You'll see some of them here. Northgate Market, SoCal Gas, Aetna CVS Health, PepsiCo, Institute of Museum Library Services, California Humanities, Union Pacific Foundations, Kaiser Permanente, Walmart. We could not have done all of these En Casas without them. So let's see. Our other virtual programs. Our education department has been doing these En Familia con la Plaza virtual field trips for the past few months. And here's a clip of what they offer. These are done during the school time. We promote it to educators out there so that they could tune in with their classrooms. So here's a small sample of that.
Hello everyone and welcome back to En Familia con la Plaza. My name is Miss Liz and I'm the education assistant here at La Plaza de Cultura y Artes. This month, La Plaza is celebrating Dia de los Niños, a celebration that not only honors children, but also literacy. Today, we're going to be celebrating Dia de los Niños by creating our very own comic book sequence. Let's get started!
Right, and you can find out more about our education team's offerings, both En Familia con la Plaza and also the virtual field trips on our website at lapca.org. And on our Facebook page at La Plaza LA, you'll find a lot of the En Familia con la Plaza sessions that you could share with your family. If you're an educator, share it with your classrooms. I mean, they're really interesting and very informative, and I'm sure that they'll enjoy it. All right, let's see. We're almost done, ladies and gentlemen. All right, here goes. So what have we learned? Here, let me show you this pretty cool little slide here. Okay, so what have we learned by doing these En Casa con la Plazas? Okay, first of all, the cultural impact. We've done more than 275 sessions with more than 400,000 combined views. That's Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Zoom. La Plaza guests were able to stay connected with a trusted institution, La Plaza de Cultura y Artes. This virtual platform increased the reach to a new audience, those that knew about La Plaza and those that now know about La Plaza. Artists, musicians, chefs, and more were given a creative outlet and income during the lockdown, when a lot of people unfortunately lost their jobs, were laid off, or were not able to create the income that they depended on before the lockdown. The program created a model that incorporates on-site activities with this virtual reach. So now, in fact, the things that are happening on-site, we're now broadcasting and streaming them via Facebook. This format lended itself to interactivity with audience participation via chat, these Q&As, and comments features. Most of all, it's an archive of a historical moment in U.S. Latino culture captured online. And for that, we're extremely proud. I'm very proud. Thank you to the 31 people. There you go. Very proud of what we've done. But then there's been not so proud moments. And of course, we got to share those with you as well. So here goes. Thank you to the 31 people.
Here we go. Hang on.
Okay. There you go.
There we go. Okay. Show me computer audio.
So, yeah,
Okay.
I'm going to turn off my phone now.
Here goes.
What's all that about?
All right.
Yeah, it was just a simple invitation. That's all it was, I think.
Welcome to En Casa con la Plaza, a very special edition. I say every edition, every session is very special, but this one is extra
Hola,
special.
gente. Buenas tardes.
Oh, see?
Good evening.
See how special we are?
Pressing button.
We're repeating ourselves here.
Abelardo, where's that poster? Don't we have that poster?
Oh, I have so many geeky questions for you, Herbert, though, really.
There it is.
Well, I'm seeing my whole screen. Are you?
Oh, yes, your whole screen. I see
I've
the
seen
porn.
his whole
Wait, where
internet
is it?
history.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can we
no.
just vote? Abelardo, can we?
Wait.
Okay. All right. Any
Boy's
story?
gone wild.
All right. That's Zoom. Anyway, I thank you so much, all of you, or the few of you that joined us tonight for our second year anniversary here at La Plaza de Cultura y Artes, En Casa con La Plaza. Bert Saavedra, thank you, and thank you for the congrats. And all of you that have tuned in over the past 2 years. I know a lot of us now have other things to do on a Friday night other than to, be in front of the computer. I don't. I have. It's not that I have to. I enjoy doing this so much, and bringing the best of our culture from me to you. So we're going to continue doing this. Working on my budget now for fiscal year 22-23, and I'm finding a little chunk of money to continue to bring you the best of our culture with these En Casa con la Plaza programs. Any last comments, please? Say hi. Okay. Next week, what's going on next week? Okay, we have a full slate of activity going on both at En Casa con la Plaza and also at La Plaza. So here goes. First of all, next Sunday, May 1st, there at La Plaza, Cinco de Mayo Family Day. It's free. It's going to include David Hayes Bautista and the Center for the Study of Latino Arts and Culture, Ballet Folclórico Flor de Mayo, and Mariachi de Ucatlan. In a teatro presentation of Cinco de Mayo, the true story, which depicts what really happened here in California and how the Cinco de Mayo celebration started. On Monday, our cooking demonstration, corn tortillas with Carla Zazueta of Mexican Food Memories, zooming in all the way from London, England. She's a Mexicana now living there in London, and she does food styling. She does cookbooks, and now she's going to bring to us a demonstration on corn tortillas. On Wednesday, May 4th at 7 p.m. here in En Casa, Web3, Bridging Arts, Community, and Technology with Santos de Los Angeles and Steve Venegas, who are the founders of Chicana DAO. Have you wondered what are NFTs? What is blockchain? What's all that about? Well, they're going to explain it all to us next Wednesday. And then finally, also back at La Plaza with a Platica, a conversation with Reina Grande and Julissa Arce, two well-known artists, authors, will be presenting their newest work there at La Plaza next Thursday at 7 p.m. And then finally on Friday, Dan Guerrero's Happy Hour with Carmelita Tropicana, a performance artist and an activist. Whew. We got a lot going on at La Plaza de Cultura y Artes. All right. ¿Y qué más? Well, thank you for joining us. Lupe Arriola, former board member and on the East Side Arts Initiative Council. Thanks for joining us tonight. Thanks to all of you. Thanks to our sponsors, Union Pacific Foundation, the Institute of Museum and Library Services. You could catch all of our En Casa programs at our YouTube site at La Plaza LA, and also on our Facebook, and also on our website, lapca.org. Soon, La Plaza Cocina will start its live programming there at La Plaza Cocina 555 North Spring. So watch out for that. The announcement's coming soon. They're going to start scheduling them in April. They'll later on in May. And then new exhibition there at La Plaza Cocina, Abuela's Kitchen in May 19th, I believe. But stay tuned here on En Casa con la Plaza, on our website, lapca.org, on our Facebook page, on our Instagram page, on our Twitter page, on our LinkedIn page. We're everywhere. But we're here tonight. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you soon at La Plaza or here on En Casa. Muy buenas noches. Bye-bye.